My name is Brian Kincannon. I am West Point class of 1979, a former Army hockey player, and I'm the chairman of the fundraising committee for the Jack Riley Endowment for Hockey Excellence. And it's my pleasure to welcome you all to this dedication ceremony of the Men's Army Hockey Locker Room in the memory of Major Thomas T.K. Kennedy. I'd like to extend a very special welcome to our distinguished guests. The 39th Chief of Staff of the Army, General Mark A. Milley, and his wife, Mrs. Holly Ann Milley. The 59th Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Lieutenant General Robert L. Caslen, and his wife, Mrs. Shelley Caslen. The 77th Commandant of Cadets of the United States Military Academy, Brigadier General Steve W. Gilland. The Command Sergeant Major of the United States Military Academy, Command Sergeant Major Timothy Gooden. Head men's hockey coach of the United States Military Academy, Mr. Brian Riley. The wife of Major Thomas T.K. Kennedy, Cammie Kennedy, and his children, Brody and Maggie. The parents of Major Thomas T.K. Kennedy, Patricia and George Kennedy. Family and friends of Major Thomas T.K. Kennedy. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this dedication ceremony. 2 years ago, we began this journey when we kicked off the Jack Riley Endowment for Hockey Excellence. We decided then that there were areas of Tate Rink that we would offer naming rights for. One area was this locker room. But it didn't remain available for long. At the direction of the athletic director, Boo Corrigan, and Brian Riley, it was decided that this locker room would be renovated and named in the memory of Major Thomas T.K. Kennedy. It was not a matter of if, but it was a matter of when. So today, we complete that mission. To kick things off, it's my pleasure to introduce, once again, the 39th Chief of Staff of the Army, General Mark A. Milley. General.
I want to thank everyone for being here to honor TK, and he's looking down from above, and there's no question at all that he would definitely appreciate the smell in this locker room right now, as it smells like every other hockey locker room that's ever existed. Hey, look, I want to thank General Caslen, Bob Caslen, and Brian for asking me to come up and say a few words. This is deeply humbling for me, and there's nothing I can say for Mom and Dad or Cammie or Brody or Maggie that will ever change the incredible loss and pain. It's just not possible. I remember that day extraordinarily well. And many of those folks are alive today because of what TK did. He was an extraordinary cadet, he was an extraordinary hockey player, and most of all, he was an incredible person. And there's, you know, we think about all of the things of his life and we celebrate his life, and I think one thing that has always helped me over the years, and I know it was 8 August 2012, and but the pain never goes away. And I think it always helps to put it in context a little bit. You can never figure out why me versus the person next to me. There's a lot of chance and serendipity that is out there on a battlefield. But in the broader context of why, he didn't die for nothing. He died for a reason. And he died for you. For everyone in this room. He died so that the concept of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness will be passed on to Brody and Maggie and generations to come. He died to preserve a document down in Washington, D.C. called the U.S. Constitution. And in that document is an idea that all men and all women, regardless of who you are or where you come from, no matter what the color of your skin is, no matter whether you're Catholic or Protestant or Jew or Muslim or you choose not to believe, doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor, whatever your last name is, doesn't matter what country of origin you came from. In this country, in my country, in these United States, we put on the cloth of our nation to make sure that every single one of us is free and equal. And we will rise to the level of our merit, and will be judged by the content of our character. That's what this country is all about. That's why TK put this uniform on. That's why he came to the United States Military Academy. And ultimately, that's why he gave the last full measure of devotion. This is a way of honoring him, dedicating a locker room, and remembering who he was, how he lived, and what he died for. And I think it's incredibly important, and it's incredibly humbling for me. But there's other ways also to honor him. We have statues around West Point. We have paintings. We have buildings named. And all of that's good. And we do a couple of things during the year. We have Veterans Day, Memorial Day. But if you really want to honor TK, go watch the news tonight or tomorrow. Pick up a newspaper. And remember that that right of freedom of the press, that wasn't earned by the reporter, the talking head. That was earned by this guy right here. It was earned with his blood. If you want to really honor him, go to a court someday. George was a cop, and he's been in many courtrooms. And in our country, you go to court, and you have the right, it's not an option, you have the right to a court, and you have the right to be defended, and there'll be a prosecutor, and you'll see two lawyers argue the case and the merits and whether the accused is innocent or guilty. But your right, my right, to due process of law, your right to be in that courtroom, that wasn't earned by the judge or the lawyer. That was earned by TK and tens of thousands of others who've worn this uniform. Next Sunday or Saturday or whatever day of the week, go to a church or a mosque or a synagogue or choose not to go. But your right to believe in whatever higher power there is, that wasn't earned by the preacher or the priest. That was earned by Major Tom Kennedy. And he gave his life so that all of us will live in freedom, and that we will have those rights for not only our generation, but for their generation and for every generation to come. So just reflect on that for a little bit and understand that, yes, we're here dedicating a locker room. I'm a hockey player. Most people in here are hockey players. We love the game of hockey. We all love TK. We love what he stood for. We love the West Point hockey team. But also remember what he was all about as a person and why he gave his life for his country. Thank you.
Thank you, General. We know you never miss a chance to see a hockey game as a former hockey player, but today.
Riley's kids in another fight.
As long as they don't score.
But we know today you had honor one of your soldiers, so thank you for being here. There are few among us who can speak firsthand of the traditions or the history of Army hockey and TK's place in that history. O'Reilly has been coaching Army hockey now for 7 decades. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Coach Brian Riley.
Thanks, Brad. It's always a great day when you have the Kennedy family back to West Point, especially Pat. I love seeing her squirm because she thinks I'm going to tell some stories about her, but I'm not going to do that to you today, Pat. So this room here started with a dream, then the dream became a vision, and now it's a reality. And as we thought about the dream and the vision, it was all about what would TK want. I can tell you what, TK would not want a statue. He would not want something front and center. He would want this right here. He would want his name to be in this locker room. And I can certainly think of no better honor. And I think you can judge a school's commitment to academics and athletics by their facilities. And this is just another in a long line of great facilities. For us, within the hockey program, recruiting is so important. So when we can bring young men up here and bring them into this facility and now into this locker room and show them, and this isn't just what was done. I mean, we had stuff done in the back room here. We had stuff done in our dry room, but this here has been a game changer for us to break down video for our guys right here in this room, for our guys to come up and every day to have the practice and you know, just something that, like I said, that big-time programs have. And we feel that we are a big-time program, and this just validates it. So, but most importantly, what this room does is it honors the memory of not a former Army hockey player, but it honors the memory of an American hero. And for us, and especially to the Kennedy family, I can tell you this, okay, that I promise that we will make sure that TK's legacy lives on. And it is my hope that all of the current players that sit in here and all of the future players that sit in here will aspire to be the man that TK was. Not the hockey player, but the man and the officer that TK was. And I know if they do, that this country will be in great hands as a result. Like I said, he was more than a hockey player. But like General Milley said, I know he's looking down on us, and like General Milley said, probably the one thing he wouldn't want to change is the smell. Like, for, I don't notice the smell, to be quite honest with you. Like, if you stay or if you come longer, you'll get used to it too. So, but no, really, this is just an amazing day for us, for our program. And I talked to the players about, and I've talked to the players plenty of times about TK. And tonight, I told them that during your 4 years, you don't often have the opportunity to play for somebody. In a locker room, you play for each other every game. There's a huge difference between playing for somebody and playing with somebody, and our guys know that. Okay, but tonight, they have the opportunity not only to play for each other, but more importantly, to play for TK. So I'm excited to see how our guys come out tonight. I know that they will compete, and it'll be a great game. So to all of those in here that made this possible, on behalf of myself, our coaching staff, and our players, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. It's a pleasure for me right now to introduce one of TK's brothers, John Kennedy, so he can come up here and say a few words. So, John.
All right, thank you. My brother Tom would make a joke, so you all should hear his John stand up so everybody can see you. So I don't see a step stool here, sir, to get me up. But the first thing I wanted to do is make a few quick thank yous to Coach Riley for what you've done for our family since we lost Tommy, shaping leaders and hockey players for the future. And I've gotten all of the ranks correct since the last 5 years I've been here, so, and in order. So I think so. General Mark Milley, Lieutenant General Robert Caslin, and Brigadier General Steve Gillen. To have you all as a part of our special day is incredible for our family. So thank you all for also serving our country, and everyone in this room. I'd like to give a one more thanks as well to Brian Kincannon and Jonathan, who were very incremental in setting up this day for us. I don't see Jonathan somewhere in here as well. But so on behalf of the entire Kennedy family, and I'll quickly, Cammie, Maggie, Brody, my mom and dad, myself, my wife Amy, Jack, Corinne, George, his wife Katie, Declan, Molly, and Mackenzie. We're so deeply honored to be here today and have our brother's name kind of etched in the hallowed halls of West Point, you know, right in the place where he'd want it, right? So with the likes of, Eisenhower and MacArthur, and, since my wife's from the South, Grant, since he did win I told her, responsible for beating the South, so we're going to need to get his name out here as well. So, yeah, so I think, and I wanted to keep it to 3 bullet points, right? Tommy's love of hockey. We started playing since we were 2 years old. We played with the likes of Matt Corkery here from Salisbury School, and where we started and grew up playing in college. And this is, like Coach said, the greatest place to put our brother, a memory of him. So the love of people, cadets, and country, I think I always like to say that 2 lines from what General Dempsey had said once. We have the greatest soldiers in the world because our people relate to our soldiers, which no other country would, And with Tommy, I steal a quote from someone else. It's not what you said or what you do that people will remember, it's how you made them feel. And he made everybody feel like they were the most important person in the world when he talked to them. And that's kind of how we try to be. But so that is the other point, and I truly believe today, that he's smiling down. The coach said he wouldn't want a big statue, but he's really excited and smiling down on this locker room, knowing that everybody that'll go through here knew how much he cared about hockey and part of this. So again, we are extremely proud of this day and being a part of it. So the one, I have the great honor to introduce the next gentleman to come up. And I know we thanked all the donors again, but guys, alumni, friends, family, this doesn't happen without you guys. So we try to get everybody in a 37-seat locker room, jammed it in, but you guys are the reason that Tommy's legacy and tradition and everything goes on for his lovely children and our family. So, again, I'd like to give a round of applause to you all for doing that. So the next speaker I have the pleasure to introduce, his name's James Fortescue. Jimmy has been, and his brother Billy, a really integral part of our family for our whole lives. And the things that Jimmy has done, not just for Tommy, but for all other, military foundations, is nothing short of incredible. If we can all do just a piece of that in our lifetime. So I wanted to give Jimmy a chance to get up and say a few words for us. Thank you.
I would also get assessed with the stand-up platform. And just to, be specific, John said he wanted to give me a chance to get up and speak. That was at 4 o'clock yesterday. He told me I was coming and then sent me the pamphlet with my name in it, and I was like, what are you doing? So, but this is really all about all of you, and if you could just bear with me for a second. It's an honor and a privilege to be here in front of all of you, and there's lots of special people in this room, and we're united by a bond from a great man and soldier, and our bond is strong and is based on the love of TK. And Maggie and Brody, your dad was a great man, and none of this is easy, but in my heart I know, like everyone has said, TK is looking down on us with a huge smile. He's proud of all of you. He's a huge supporter of Coach Riley and #1 fan of Army hockey and all of Army athletics. And he would never let a day go by without mentioning all of his fallen comrades and teammates, such as Derek Hines. He would ask everyone to remember all the soldiers and all of their families. TK was special, and we all miss him, and we wish he was here with us to laugh with us and mostly at us. He would definitely say this room is way too nice. Today, with this locker room, we establish a healing post, a place for all of us to go out into the world, share a story, and speak about TK and West Point. This locker room is a place to be proud of and a way to keep TK with us for years to come. As was said before, the locker room is a sacred spot. Many folks remember the games we play, but we all know that we remember hanging with our brothers, our teammates, our battle partners, and our coaches. We remember that camaraderie and special bonds we build in a locker room. I'm going to share a note that I sent to TK the day after he died. I got a message from TK, and he said, an email, he was in Afghanistan, "I'm sure you're getting ready for the football season. I hope things are going well for you guys. Finally getting settled in over here in Jalalabad. I will be back in December and then off to Cabo for a nice vacation. You guys need to get out to Colorado in January. Plenty of room at the Kennedy House, plenty of beer in the kegerator. From TK. At the bottom of all of his emails it said, in quotes, led by love of country. We don't need to ever doubt it. I wrote back to him the next day, TK, I write to you. I write to you posthumously. By the way, I haven't read this since the day I wrote it. And John was nice enough to put me on the spot here today. So, I write to you posthumously, and after receiving the devastating news of your passing in Afghanistan yesterday, we were sitting with 7 guys speaking about you, speaking about this country. You are my hero. The thing is we knew that. And the bond we had together as brothers, Billy, John, and George, was beyond powerful. We know your mission, TK. You always just wanted to lead men. You always wanted to protect them. You did not like bureaucracy, and you always put your country ahead of your first. Your sign-off says it all. Led by love of country. You know, TK, we'll do our best to take care of your family. It will be our honor. Thank you, my hero. You broke the mold of what it means to be great. I will make sure I share that with your kids. I will try to comfort your beautiful wife. And I will rally all the patriots on your behalf. God bless. Well, thanks to all of you, Coach Riley. A lot of my words came to life today, so. But what I will say is, Tommy was an easy guy to like. He was kind and he was charming. But he was also tough and he was gritty. If it was hockey or defending our country, he went out to fight and fight to win. For years to come, the stories of TK will be told, and young men will learn about being unselfish, courage, sacrifice, and being positive. They will learn how to smile and why never to complain. They will hear about a hero, and they'll hear it in the locker room. Later today, I get to walk out. My little team is getting to play at 3 p.m. On the ice, and Brody Kennedy is going to be our special captain today. And on our jersey, we have TK. We're called the TK Knights. And so we have a new captain, and we're going to expect him to shine and have some fun. Maggie, you'll have a jersey too if you want to play. But, you know, and then after that, as I said, Coach Riley gets to play against his 2 best friends, his sons. And as I started to say, it's been an honor and a privilege to be here. It is a day to heal. And it's a day to remember our military past and present. It's a day about family and friends and a bond. And, you know, we wish we were not here, but for these few brief moments, we could tip our hats and say, thanks, TK. You brought us all together. God bless. Over in 2 minutes.
Coach, John, Jimmy, thank you for those moving words. We appreciate that. In the action where TK lost his life, another great American was awarded the Medal of Honor. And he has become a friend of the Kennedy family and regrets that he could not be here today. He tracked down another Army hockey great, retired 3-star General, Lieutenant General Dave Halverson, gave him this book and said, please give this book to Coach Riley, and let me read what he wrote. He said, to the Army hockey team, this book belongs to you. Never quit in the fight, because TK would never accept it. God bless Flo. So Brian, I give you this book. Kimmy, Brody, Maggie, Pat, George, the entire Kennedy family and friends of TK, we have a saying in the military, we will never forget. Today, we're telling you once again that we will never forget. The Major Thomas T.K. Kennedy locker room will stand as an inspiration to every Army hockey player who walks through these doors, plays in this arena, and upon graduation earns the right to wear the Army uniform and serve our great nation. Thank you for allowing us to remember your husband, your father, your son, our friend, and hero in this way. This has been a very special day. So before closing, I'd like to remind everyone of the remaining schedule of events for today. At 1:30, we'll have an alumni game. It should be fun to watch. I think the training room will have more action than the game, potentially. This locker room, from this point on, will be available for family and friends to walk through, take photos, stay as long as the smell will allow you to stay. At 4:30, across the street in the Kimsey Center, we'll have a cocktail reception for about an hour. With dinner to follow at 5:30, Coach Riley will address us and tell us how he's going to deal with those two children of his. At 7:05, that task of dealing with them begins. After the game at about 9:30, we will have a reception following the game, a post-game reception, which will be in the class of 1956 walkway, and we would be honored for everyone to please join us. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This concludes our dedication ceremony. Thank you for being here.